Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And guys, we have an awesome show for you guys today. We're doing a little bit of, I have trivia for him. He's got, Would you rather?
Would you rather, fantasy edition.
Would you rather. So some fun stuff. I like it when like one of us knows the answer, knows how it's going to go, and the other doesn't. I think that creates a really fun dynamic. Before we get to all that, we do have to talk about some of the news. We actually get to do news of the week and stuff.
Guys getting in trouble this week.
Yeah, but at least it's football news. Like we have content. It's sad. It really is. Unfortunately, that we're going to start with Frank Clark gets arrested in L.A. For illegal possession of a submachine gun. I don't have any strong takes on this. Like, that's dumb, but there might be more of the story beyond that.
Yeah, I have no take other than I do think it sounds pretty badass.
Yeah.
Frank Clark arrested for having a submachine gun in your Lamborghini. Put my name in there, Frank Clark. That's a dream. He'll be fine. Yeah.
He will be fine.
He'll be fine.
It's dumb. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, I completely agree.
No, I do it.
And then we get into the very sad news with Jalen Taiwan. I apologize. A defensive lineman out of Pitt. This is a guy I actually did a draft profile on. If you want to go check that out, he got shot he got shot in DC 4 times. He is expected to make a full recovery though. Yeah,
he's completely fine.
Yeah. Again, badass. Honestly, he takes 4 shots to the fucking chest and he walks away.
Like a hero too.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh man, that's just sad. I don't, again, we don't know the full story, and I'm not gonna say and lie to you. I didn't dive into this one. I just I saw the headline. It's certainly worth mentioning. I'm rooting for the guy. He's a guy I really liked pre-draft, so definitely a name I'm rooting for. Move on to the next piece of this is just sad. There's no badassery to this. Zaven Collins, first round pick from the Cardinals. A guy out of Tulsa who has a lot of promise, physically gifted dude. Arrested, reckless driving. I believe he was inebriated or at least close to the edge. There's some issues there. We'll see how that plays out. Again, will it ruin his career? No, but it's unfortunate to see these young kids getting in trouble early on.
It's just not the news that you want attached to your first round pick, especially a guy that you bet on the potential side, which he had a lot of product on the field that he was able to show too, but potential heavy, you need to see him show up and show out and do it the right way, and it's not the right foot.
No, certainly not the right place to start. And then we'll end it. The last piece of news that we should probably talk about is Carl Nassib coming out. He's going to be the first openly gay football player to play in the NFL. Now, there's guys that came out after the career. Obviously, we know about Michael Sam, thank you, who was drafted by the Rams late, didn't end up playing just because he was just one of those guys, didn't quite have it. And people like to say there was some other factors to that. I don't know. It's not something that's not for me to comment on. But overall, really cool. I loved his message. He's donating $100,000 to endangered youths for suicide prevention for the LGBTQ community. I hope I said that right. I mean nothing but respect for that community. Yeah, I just think it's a cool thing. Certainly worth mentioning.
Same. Props to Carl Nassib. Yeah. Props to him for keeping it professional and coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was professional, but it was nonchalant at the same time. Like, he didn't make it open and up front about, hey, this is it.
He didn't make it about me.
Yeah, exactly.
In a weird way.
He dropped the news. He did what he did, and he also pledged that donation and said that,
he thanks his family.
He showed that he was doing it not for himself, but for others to feel courageous and strong and brave in knowing that it's okay, and that honestly, I would hope that the average football fan shouldn't care.
No, I don't think anybody. I didn't care. Yeah,
to each their own. You do what makes you happy in your life, and at the end of the day, get out there and play football, and that is what we will give you crap about.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're for Carl Nassib, if you're a good left end in that case, that's what we'll judge you on. Everything else, you do you, man.
I absolutely agree. I would like it to get to a point where it's not even something worth mentioning.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I feel the same way about different coaches and different races and different job qualities and stuff. At a certain point, I hope that the average American can get to the point in their head to where that is not a factor. I don't care. I will never judge you based off of anything that you do outside of the sport. And that's where we're at. And
absolutely agree.
Honestly, we're progressing to that point. It's going good.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that was a great way to put it. Let's get into the meat of the show. I'm going to start off here. I have some trivia questions, right?
Run it.
And this has been fun because I've been putting these together. I only have 3, but there's some really good ones. I think some meaty conversations to go along with it. And I've been putting these together just randomly seeing something on Twitter. Ooh, that's interesting. Saw something on TV once and I was like, ooh, that's really interesting.
Wrong?
You will get one of these wrong for sure.
Okay.
There's one here. The third question I have for you, I will be shocked if you get it right.
What if I get them all wrong?
I mean, it'll be interesting. We'll go with this first one, all right? So, and this is a little bit of a setup here, but with the Patriots missing the playoffs for the first time since 2007, the end to a historic playoff run came. Sorry, I typed that out wrong. It was the end to a historic playoff run, right? They had a great run. Now, there are there are just 2 teams that have an active playoff streak with more than 3 seasons. Which teams are they?
3 consecutive seasons.
Over 3 seasons. Yeah, more than 3 seasons. There's 2 that have 3 seasons, and then there's 2 that has more than 3 seasons right now as we're speaking. And I have the 2 that have 3 seasons, but I'm asking you about the 2 that have more than 3 seasons of playoff runs or of making the playoffs.
Seattle.
Seattle has 3.
Yeah, so Seattle is 1.
No, Seattle only has 3, so that's not the.
Oh, I'm saying
more than 3. More than 3
plus.
3 plus.
Okay,
correct.
Okay. Are they like NFL blue bloods? Like it should be popping off the chart. The Saints, New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans Saints is 1. They have 4. The 4 consecutive.
I want to say the Packers, but Aaron Rodgers had a collarbone injury in there.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly certain they missed.
They did.
Yeah, they missed on one of those
Packers are
years.
not right.
I was about to say Pittsburgh.
You're gonna feel dumb. I'll put it that way. You're gonna feel dumb.
I'm gonna feel that dumb.
You're gonna feel dumb once you realize who it is.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
No, they have 3. They're the other team that has 3.
Well, I did good then. I'm in the area. Give me conference real quick.
No, you want conference? Okay, I'll give you conference.
Conference
It's AFC.
AFC. Oh,
AFC.
Chiefs. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, because they made it a couple years with Alex.
Alex Smith was still a 9-7, 10-6 football
Exactly.
team.
Yeah, like they made it to the playoffs a couple years before with Alex Smith.
Of course.
And then obviously Patrick Mahomes gets in there. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. Just 2 teams with more than 3. It just shows you the turnover with the NFL.
Really is a lot of turnover.
Ridiculous. Obviously, once the Patriots fell, I mean, the Saints can miss the playoffs this year. With the
honestly, I'll say
Chiefs won't.
I think they will.
Yeah, Chiefs won't. But it's super interesting the amount of teams that can kind of fall in there. Like if I had to guess, I would think just guessing forward, and this is just kind of a side conversation to that question. I would think like the Bills are a team I don't think are going to miss the playoffs for a handful of years over the next couple of years. I would think the Seahawks have done it 3 years. They're not going to miss the playoffs as long as Russ is there. I think that was a fluke the year they did.
Yeah.
I would think, 49ers missed last year, but 49ers, I don't think are going to miss the playoffs for a while. Rams, but again, there's always that 1 year.
3 consecutive teams in the same division, though.
That's true.
Someone's out.
That's true.
I mean, someone most likely is out.
I wasn't even thinking about like that, but you're absolutely right. I just did. So yeah, it's interesting. I thought it was interesting. Let's move on to some next gen stats. All right.
Okay.
So according to next gen stats, who had the most 20+ mile per hour rushing attempts? All right. So this is a rushing attempt where the runner hit 20 miles per hour speed or higher, and multiple times. So the top player hit that speed 6 separate times. I actually have the top 5 here. I will tell you the top 3 are running backs, and then the 4th and 5th they're actually tied. One is a running back, one is a wide receiver, one is a quarterback.
Quarterback Kyler.
Quarterback is Kyler. He hit 20 miles per hour or more 4 times this past year.
Wide receiver, I would say Tyreek.
You're absolutely right. So that is he also hit 4 times. So there's 2 running backs that hit 5 times and 1 running back that hit 6 times.
And I got a weird one just because I know the underrated speed of this guy. Very well may not be on that list. Raheem Mostert.
Okay. He's not there, and I think because you're absolutely right. I think because
Raheem
he was
Mostert
hurt,
had one where he can fly.
Yeah, he can absolutely fly. I would say his injuries this past year probably kept him from being on that list. But no, he is not on my top 5.
Okay, starters, of course, right? Like it's not like a.
No, I don't think. No, they're all starters.
Yeah,
all 3. They're all 3 running backs. All 3 starters for their team.
Man, I almost said Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has deceptive. Derrick Henry then.
Derrick Henry is. Derrick Henry has 5.
When he gets going, he really does.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is tied for 2nd with 5. So you're still missing that guy with 6.
Is there a rookie on that list?
He was a rookie this past year. Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, he had 6.
I was about to say Jonathan Taylor.
He had 6. Yeah, that's crazy, right?
When he runs, his pad level is low, but he is explosive.
Flies.
There's a reason he's going in the first round.
Yeah, he absolutely flies. There's one more. Can you get the other running back? I would be surprised if you get this because I would not have gotten this. I'll be 100% honest with you. I would not have gotten this one. One more running back who tied with Derrick Henry with 5 rushing attempts with 20 miles per hour or more.
Myles Gaskin?
No, but same first name.
I like Myles. Same first name.
Yeah.
That made it worse. Why? Why'd that make it worse though? Miles. I don't know.
Miles Sanders.
Oh.
Yeah, that would surprise me. I would not have gotten
It's
there.
because the spelling in my head was M-Y. I was like, M-Y-L-E-S. Who's another Miles? Not Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, M-I-L-E-S. All right, last one, and this is one a super fun stat. I think you will get the second, but you will not get the number. Well, maybe you could get the number. You won't get all the names on this list. I have the top 5 here. According to Next Gen Stats, again, who had the best ball hawk percentage? All right, so that's the percentage of targets considered a pass defended or interception by the cornerback. All right.
Wow.
So this is a cornerback stat. The cornerback that had the most ball hawks, or that had the highest ball hawk percentage, according to Next Gen Football Stats. I know you'll get. I feel like, I'll be honest with you. If I would have been asked this question, I only would have gotten one name.
So that means that there's like, I mean, if I were to name like top corners,
you'll know all the names.
I would
on
go
this
Jair.
list. Jair's not on this list.
I would go Stephon Gilmore.
Nope.
Jalen Ramsey.
Nope.
Denzel Ward.
He is number 1.
Okay.
Denzel
Denzel Ward for me is a top 5 cornerback product.
24.3.
If I were to do anything else, I would knock out Miami's with Byron Jones and Xavier Howard.
Xavier Howard was number 2. He had the most interceptions in the league last year. He's the only one I would have gotten. He was second on this list with 22.7%. The next 3, I'll be honest, you're definitely not going to get third. You could probably get 5th and 4th if you really thought about it.
Safeties in there too?
No, I don't believe.
Strictly cornerback.
They're all corners. Think outside the box a little bit. Just think about last year, guys that were really good, but maybe not the biggest name in the world.
Yeah.
You loved coming out of college. Excuse me.
Rookie?
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson was unstoppable.
Yeah,
Jalen Johnson had a very productive
him.
year too. I love Jalen Johnson. That's who I wanted the Vikings to pull right there.
You've been sneaky really good with picking corners in the draft lately.
I have been.
Yeah, you've been killing
Mike Zimmer, I'm coming for your ass. Get it right. Get the cornerback pick right, please.
Yes, Jalen Johnson was 5th, so we have 2 more. So okay. just a recap.
Not rookies?
No, but just to recap, Denzel Ward, 24.3%. He was number 1. Xavier Howard was 2nd with 22.7%, and Jalen Johnson was 5th with 21.5%.
That is an insane percentage, by the way.
Yeah, 20, almost 20.
Denzel Ward a 4th of the time?
Yeah, either getting interception or actively knocking the ball down.
That's wild.
And granted, like this stat, these are the kind of stats, Next Gen stats, where it's
loaded.
Like, and you can kind of like pick and choose your poison here. Like I feel like there's a statistician somewhere that's like, ooh, that was a pass defended, but that wasn't. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of discrepancy.
But again, it's still, I feel like, a good stat overall. All right, one very, very good player that I thought was gonna. I'm giving you I don't know how I'm gonna give you a hint for the third one, to be honest with you, but yeah. The number 4, I want you to get the number 4. I'm going to give you a hint. He played on a different team. It was his first year on a different team in 2020, and he played. I gushed about him all year. He played so much better than I thought. I didn't know the stats behind it, but I knew he was balling out, and he was on a defense that struggled, and he was on a defensive unit, his cornerbacks unit, that I think we both thought was going to be one of the worst in the league.
One of the worst in the league,
yes.
Based off of secondary.
I mean, their entire defense, I think we thought was going to be bad. And granted, I'm talking like going into the 2020 season, we thought was going to be bad. He dominated compared to what I was expecting. I'll put it that way. And I will tell you, he went from one NFC team to another NFC team.
Dadgum. You gave me a lot of hints just now. Yeah. And I'm struggling with it, really. Conference?
NFC least.
Darius Slay.
No.
Oh, man, but he did it, though. He went from the Lions to the... let's go the other side. Desmond Trufant went from the Falcons
There's a lot of options
to the Lions.
Well,
I think I'm doing well.
NFC least is the team.
That is where he ended up landing.
Is where he ended up landing, yes. NFC East is where he ended up landing.
Oh, man. So Cowboys are out on that. It's a giant.
Mm-hmm.
It's a giant, and it would be...
Now it's going to be on the tip of your tongue, right?
Yeah.
Because I talked about him a lot. You should know this one.
Go ahead, drop it.
James Bradberry.
Yeah,
James Bradberry.
Yeah.
Went from the Panthers to the Giants.
Bradberry did really good.
He had a killer season. The third, Darius Phillips. I wouldn't have gotten that one either. Very surprising for Darius Phillips to be on the list. But yeah, James Bradbury, 21.8%. Ball hawk, and he played, like I said it all year. Like he played fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And he got very little notoriety. So I'm glad we could put that out there. That's all I have. Anywhere you want to go with those questions?
That's fine. Looking at James Bradbury in the future for the Giants, though, that's one reason why I am so high on the Giants going into this year, is that they have a defense built not off of just true star power names like I would say the Rams, for example, but they have guys who have grit. They have guys who are tough. They have true budget ballers on defense. And looking forward, this year is not the year to push at all. I think it's a year where they need to evaluate what they have at quarterback going forward and to look at the defense and just build some camaraderie and get going. And they're going to be a very, very tough football team. Yeah. And looking at it from like the betting aspect, whenever it comes into that, our gambling habit, we know we got to fulfill that. Not touching against the Giants. I touched against the Giants on a last year Tampa Bay versus the Giants game, in a game where on paper it's like, oh, Tampa's going to whoop some ass, right? Nope.
Was that the fourth down game?
That was the fourth down
game. That was the fourth down game.
Don't mess with the Giants. They're a tough, gritty team that will catch you sleeping and looking ahead for next week. And they're going to be a good team this year.
So James Bradbury, I was just curious. He signed a 3-year contract in the 2020 offseason, $43.5 million, 31.9 guaranteed. So I'm glad he's getting paid. He deserves every bit of that plus more compared to how he played this past year. I hope he has another killer season and he can get an extension in 2022 because he deserves it. He played awesome. I absolutely agree with everything you said. I would like to bring this up, all right? And this is like in our friend group, just to peel back the curtain a little bit. We have a group chat, where we talk football or whatever, and all the guys are in there. And in the whatever year it was that the Cowboys hired their new coach and Giants hired their new coach, I sat here and I think this was before we had the pod, because I certainly would have talked about it if we did. I told everybody, I was like, man, I hate the McCarthy signing. Like, I didn't like McCarthy of the Giants. I don't understand why the Cowboys would rehash old things. And I actually kind of liked the Giants signing just because of everything that was going behind. Like, he was being pushed by Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. He was a special teams coach who actually is, like, they have a pretty good history in the NFL. Like, you look at, not a lot of special teams coach gets to be head coaches, but the ones that have been pretty good. I got obliterated in our group chat by every fucking, you included, everybody said I was crazy, said I was nuts for thinking McCarthy was the worst signing.
You did.
Can I get anything?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
That's fair.
I'll give it to you that Joe Judge was a good hire.
Joe Judge.
We already know that. Joe Judge was a good hire. He has the culture aspect down, and that can be attributed to Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. So the Giants are going in the good direction. No. Listen. You're right. If we were to call it quits right now and say you're right, yeah, you win definitely.
But McCarthy could bring it back this year.
Solely on the fact that listen, it does speak a lot on the X's and O's fact on Mike McCarthy for when your team goes down, losing Dak, losing a lot of those star pieces on offensive line, losing some of those defensive players. That's when you really get to prove yourself as a head coach. Mm-hmm. McCarthy failed them in that aspect. Where I could show you a guy who, for me, is an easy top 3 coach. Mm-hmm. I mean, easy. Mike Tomlin. Mm-hmm. When Mike Tomlin had that same, all of that turmoil happening with the quarterback situation with the team, the locker room.
Big Ben got hurt, the offensive line got hurt,
handling Lev Bell, handling Antonio Brown, time and time again. Mike Tomlin has kept things hush hush. Yeah. He has put a good product on the field. And when you look at what happened with the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, he blew some chunks on that. Yeah. Listen, there's a huge argument too going into the fact that I'm now an Aaron Rodgers fan. And thinking that Mike McCarthy was able to fully waste a full potential Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I've said that for years, first of all.
And also I blame Packers management, not just McCarthy. But when it comes to being stale and stagnant, I'm giving McCarthy one more season. Okay. This is it.
So this time this year, I can shit on all y'all for like.
You can shit on us now.
No, I won't, because like I'm trying not to be like that, but like I got like
you got obliterated.
I got obliterated more than
for all the dumb questioning your football knowledge, which I would
all the dumb takes I've had, like all the stupid things I've said. That was the one that blew people's fucking minds, because I was just like, McCarthy's not a good head coach. Look at what he did in the Green Bay. Like, he wasted Aaron Rodgers. He had 1 Super Bowl. Blah blah blah. Yeah. And people couldn't fucking get that through their mind. I stand by that take 100%. We'll see what happens this year.
I understood where you were coming from.
Yeah, you did.
Looking at the Joe Judge hire,
crushed.
Different. It's different, but it works, man.
All right, so I'll wait another year.
Honestly, I'm to the point now where I don't want the guy who has, I guess, the accolades in the past, or maybe even just one Lombardi ring. Mm-hmm. I want the guy who's going to build the culture.
Culture's more important. Look at the Dolphins.
Well, it's
Look
so
at where the
hard
Giants
to
are
convince
going.
these guys who make millions, who at this point it's a job for them, some of these seasoned vets that are day in, day out, it's hard for them to really rally. Maybe not for some of them, but I know in some bad locker room cases, they'll show up and they'll do their thing and they'll go home. They don't really have that culture.
Yeah.
Why would they? Yeah. If you're getting paid $8 to $12 million a year just to show up and do your job, do you give a damn if you win? I mean, some of the people don't.
They're guarantee you there's a percentage of the NFL like they don't care about the wins or losses. They care about their stats. They care about how they perform, and that's important to them. But at the end of the day, they're not in it for the team aspect. They're past that in their life, and they're there making a paycheck. So I guarantee you that's
I can speak on it from a baseball standpoint, just because I know about that aspect. It was Mike Trout talking about some of his old teammates with the Angels, because he's the best player in baseball. Mm-hmm. Not even close, bar none. He's been that way for years. Underrated West Coast player, and he talked about how some of his teammates were kind of like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna suck this year. It's okay. We're off in October. We get damn late September, October, all that good stuff off." And Trout's like, "What?
Didn't understand that.
Let's push and get better and try to further ourselves. A lot of these guys, some of them don't. Yeah. So give me the coach that's gonna better the team as a whole."
Yeah, I absolutely agree. All right, let's do your would you rather's.
This is fantasy football would you rather edition, and it. Should I start with late round and progress?
Go however you want to do it, man.
What would you prefer?
I
have a question that spans from the first round to the 14th round. Should I go first to 14th or 14th to first?
Let's go 14th to first.
Okay.
Interested. This
is deep sleeper, 14th round. I know what your answer is, and I know what my answer is, and that's why I think it'll be a good debate.
Okay.
Gabe Davis, really high on him, or Russell Gage?
I'll go Gabe Davis.
And I go Russell Gage.
Okay, so
Gabe Davis for the Buffalo Bills.
Let me break this down. Gabe Davis for the Buffalo Bills popped a lot to me last year. I felt like this is a guy who really he wasn't on the field a lot because he was the fourth wide receiver on that Buffalo Bills team. This Buffalo Bills team will throw the ball a whole lot. I love Josh Allen, and I think going into this year, he has a chance to be the wide receiver too on that team, especially with the Cole Beasley stuff going on where he's upset with the NFLPA. We didn't really talk about that last week.
Yeah.
That kind of got brushed to the wayside a little bit, but there's some issues there. Obviously, he doesn't have to be the number one with Diggs being there. I think he's in a perfect situation to succeed. He is a late sleeper that I am incredibly excited about. I like Russell Gage too. I'm not going to sit here and shit on Russell Gage.
You know where I'm going with. I'm saying the same thing that you said about Gabe Davis with Russell Gage is that the departure of Julio. Mm-hmm. Russell Gage was a very solid third option. He was a positional based matchup flex. And now taking Julio out of that, Russell Gage has the chance to step up into that number 2 role with a Matt Ryan who might be coming off a little pissed off, ready to go. This team can throw the ball. They can put up some garbage time numbers. And Russell Gage, listen, if we're talking 14th round, give me either of them.
Yeah,
and
I'm happy with either
not
of them.
even playing.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree.
They are stud deep sleepers. I'm choosing Russell Gage solely because I saw what Russell Gage did last year. I saw what Gabe Davis did too. Gabe Davis came in and produced deep across the middle several times. And yes, with the Cole Beasley thing, Buffalo is going to be the more prolific offense to go off of.
Yeah.
But I think there's more consistency with the Atlanta passing attack.
I get that, and the going to be losing late conversation of it probably adds more to fantasy value, so that's certainly a good point as well.
Yeah, we will move on. This is in the 10th round now.
Okay.
This is the 10th round handcuff conversation.
Okay.
Latavius Murray or Tony Pollard?
Tony Pollard all day for me, and here's the reason. Latavius Murray lost a step last year. There were multiple games early on in the season I even remember watching where it was like, okay, there's a hole, and he couldn't get through it fast enough before it closed.
Yeah.
I remember watching that in TV copy. I remember confirming it in film room for me at least. I feel very confident that Latavius Murray, he might get relegated to third string. It would not surprise me, but I do think he fell off a little bit. And Tony Pollard, again, listen, I don't know really what to expect with Tony Pollard, but I do feel like I know what to expect with Zeke, and I expect Zeke to continue to decline. We've seen it ever since he got paid. It's been gradual. It hasn't been like, I'm not saying he's terrible. He's still a starting running back in the NFL and all that, but he's not the top 5 running back that he was when he first came into the league. Now maybe you argue he's top 10, and somebody wants to argue that. I'm probably not going to hate you for it. I don't know if I did my list. He'd probably be in the top 10 or really close to it, right? But if he continues to decline, that Tony Pollard conversation, Tony Pollard might get more and more snaps. I would rather have the handcuff that I believe in more. And to be really honest, I don't like Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray is not going to be on my board. I don't believe in him, to be totally honest with you.
Completely agree with you. Yeah. Mention one more thing, not round based, before we move on to the next question. Is there another handcuff that is more valuable? And you know what I mean when I say handcuff too. I don't mean
explain it to them just so you can.
So a handcuff is the guy who is primarily in the workhorse back situation is the number one. The handcuff is if he goes down, he is stepping into a primary 1 to 3 down back role. We're not talking about the Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb split, of course, or anything like that, running back by committee approach.
Anthony
so
McFarland.
Take the 49ers out of there.
Give me Anthony McFarland. Anthony McFarland would be my ultimate handcuff because I do believe if Najee Harris does go down, Anthony McFarland would be the dude. I thought he popped a little bit last year. Anthony McFarland was a big reason why I didn't think the Steelers would go running back first round. I certainly thought they would target running back at some point. I didn't know that they'd value a running back that early because I did believe in Anthony McFarland to have a chance to lead that offense. Obviously, I was wrong there, but I do believe in Anthony McFarland. That's the first name that comes to my head. I have a question for you. Would you consider a Chase Edmonds going to be a handcuff because of Connor there? Because I think Chase Edmonds. I went back and watched the Bills and Cardinals game.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Chase Edmonds. Like I thought he was the better running back last year over Kenyon Drake. I think Chase Edmonds has a chance to be the starter there. Can I call him a handcuff? Because I would certainly take him if I could call him a handcuff. Probably not though, right? Because is Connor the number one? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think he's the clear cut number one.
Man, it's weird how we flow. I don't know if you're picking up on my brainwaves or what, but I'll flow right into my next question.
Okay.
At the 6th round, Mike Davis or James Conner?
Okay.
And I know your answer.
Yeah.
I know your answer because if you're evaluating James Conner, both of these guys have landed on new teams. Both of these guys had their chances at their roles. Mike Davis excelled. He genuinely did whenever CMC went down in Carolina. Yeah. I had him. He was an asset to me. He was a value. Yes, he wasn't CMC, but it shows that when he has the carries, when he has the touches, he can do good things.
Yeah.
James Conner, on the other hand,
I thought struggled.
Exploded at times in years past, but when it came to this past year where it was time for him to truly take the reins, he struggled. And a guy like Chase Edmonds gives more value in my head, especially when we're looking at the 6th round. Yeah. Mike Davis has RB1 potential.
Yeah, I'll take Mike Davis all day. I actually like Chase Edmonds over James Conner. Like if I did my rankings, Chase Edmonds is going to be ahead of James Conner in my
so there we go.
My running back fantasy rankings for sure. So yeah.
Weird how we pick up on that.
Yeah,
so,
okay, that's awesome.
No, I would say Chase Edmonds is not a handcuff.
Okay.
Because we both in our heads feel like he has a deeper role on that team than handcuff. But go get Chase Edmonds is what we're saying.
For sure. I'm trying to think of another handcuff. What's another handcuff that would be good? Chuba Hubbard for the Carolina Panthers. We saw if
I like Chuba a lot.
CMC went down, keep Chuba Hubbard in the back burner because CMC had a minor injury in 2019, right? Did he? Maybe he didn't. I could be wrong on that. CMC.
That's the reason Mike Davis got to step up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm saying he went out in 2020 for most of the season. I'm saying 2019. Did he have a minor injury? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Chuba Hubbard was their 4th round pick. That would be a guy. And listen, I could be totally wrong on this one. I could be absolutely just way off here. But I look at the Chargers. I look at the guy they got in the 6th round out of Missouri, Larry Roundtree. I do believe he'll be the number 2, and I am targeting him late in every league I have, especially like our keeper. I'll get him before anybody else because I'm gonna like him. Like he's a guy that he's not gonna be on anybody's radar. You'll know, and whoever listens to this pod will know.
Probably a guy who could be like an undrafted.
Yeah, but he's gonna have a chance to be undrafted. He won't be though. I'll tell you that. That's fair. So that's a name. That's a super sleeper pick that I wanted to put out there as well. But yeah,
I wanted to name AJ Dillon, but does that count? No, because of the way that Matt LaFleur swaps out his backs.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it counts because AJ Dillon's going to
Jones $15 million.
Yeah, I would think it does count a little bit but AJ Dillon is going to jump into that Williams role that Williams had last year. I feel like
so, and they do tag him in and out.
There's certainly going to be there's some value there for sure, and I could call him a handcuff.
So this is a 5th round conversation: Deontay Johnson or Kenny Golladay. I have my answer.
That's a close one. I'm gonna go with talent and say Kenny Golladay. I do think Kenny Golladay is the more talented player overall. I like Deontay Johnson. I'm not saying maybe Deontay Johnson ends up being the better player in the long run. Right now, I would obviously say Kenny Galladay's proven more to me. I'll take Kenny Galladay on the Giants over Deontay Johnson in a loaded wide receiver room. Would you disagree?
That's why.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Daniel Jones at times for the Giants passing attack.
I certainly am.
How they're going to fit in Kadarius Toney, who they took in the first round, and also how they're going to fit in Darius Slayton out of Auburn. I mean, Darius Slayton showed up time and time again, year after year, and put up respectable fantasy numbers going in the 6th to 8th round. Adding Kenny Galladay, though, he is more talented than all of those guys. Deontay Johnson, while being talented, is also in a extremely crowded wide receiver room. I think you're more guaranteed with Deontay. You know what you're going to get because we've seen the same wide receiver room. We know that he's going to get his shares. We know that he's going to get his touches. Galladay has the ceiling, though.
Yeah. And part of it for me is I do believe, I don't believe that Big Ben is going to keep 3 relevant fantasy wide receivers.
Someone's out this year.
Somebody's out this year. And if I had to pick one, it would be Deontay Johnson. So
that would be Juju.
Okay, see, and that's totally fair. But Juju, he signed a 1 year.
Do you feel comfortable taking that shot on the 5th round? No, give me the wide receiver 1 for the New York Giants.
I completely agree.
Next one. This is also in the 5th round. Kind of weird. We have Chase Edmonds or Ronald Jones.
That's awesome. Okay, so Chase Edmonds is going ahead of Connor. I didn't know that.
He should.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. I would take Chase Edmonds. Ronald Jones is truly sharing the role with Fournette, and I think there's value to a Ronald Jones. I do. I don't think there's a value to Ronald Jones in the 5th round. I think Ronald Jones has his place on your bench and certainly is a startable running back. I don't want him in the 5th because 5th is like no man's land for running back. And if I'm drafting a running back in the 5th, I'm drafting him on upside or I'm taking Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's the only guy with who's going in that range where I can at least feel very comfortable with the floor. And beyond that, I'll take the upside of a Chase Edmonds, who I believe has a chance to be the number 1 and be a difference maker on that running game. I don't know that Jones has that as much as I like him. Let me
combine question 3 and 4 then, because I think it's a good topic for a lot of people. We have good, I would say borderline great wide receivers at Deontay Johnson and Kenny Galladay. We have serviceable running back options in the 5th round. I know it's hard to guess where your team would be at in that, but do you take the good to great wide receiver, or do you take the serviceable plug and play?
Of those 4, assuming I have equal number wide receivers. Let's assume that I have equal number of running back wide receivers, and it's even enough to where I don't feel like I need help on either side, and I can take all that out of it. I'll take Chase Edmonds over all of them.
Okay.
Chase Edmonds has the highest ceiling to me.
So I would go wide receivers over those guys, and then I would.
Do you agree with my statement that Chase Edmonds has the highest?
Yes. Because I see ceiling wise, he could take the 1 role in that offense.
Yeah, I could see it being special,
especially PPR.
Yeah, and especially just look at what Kenyon Drake was able to do in 2019 when he got into town. That 8-week run was fucking awesome. If Chase Edmonds has the potential, I'm not saying it'll happen, but he has the potential to do that for an entire season, I would take that in the 5th round over Deontay Johnson, who I have a lot of questions about, Kenny Galladay, who I don't have questions about the player, but I do have questions about Daniel Jones. And how do you that's just a decision everyone's going to have to make independently. I would struggle to take any of those guys over a Chase Edmonds.
Okay. I'm going to stick with the wide receiver talk, but we're going, these are high rounds. These are tough questions. And this is honestly a lot of personal bias. We have 2nd round, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, or DeAndre Hopkins. And I want them ranked. On fantasy output, not true talent, because it's hard. But those are your realistic options in the 2nd round.
That is elite. Yeah. DK's 3rd, I think. I think DK is 3rd. And I love DK. I hope this doesn't come off like I dislike any of these players.
That's why I
fucking love
fantasy.
DK.
I said
fantasy.
And
DK, I think, has just as much physical talent as these other 2.
We're also evaluating 2 of the top 5 wide receivers, and then DK being 6th man out.
So there's that. I'm gonna go Hopkins, Diggs, DK. I think that's how I'm gonna go. And my reasoning is last year Hopkins was the entire passing offense. I feel like. And the one complaint that everybody had, or the one complaint I had, I know you had as well, was that Hopkins had very limited route tree.
He did.
That is going to that's got to change, and I would bet on that changing. Again, even if it doesn't, he's getting 10 targets a game, so you're comfortable with the floor. I think he's going to be utilized in better ways this offseason, or I think they're going to create better ways to utilize him this offseason and then into the regular season. Diggs, I think last year was his ceiling as far as his production. I don't see him doing. I think he could do it again, and maybe he becomes one of those guys that is consistently doing that. I think we saw the height of heights for which was awesome, and I'm not taking anything away from it. I think that's what you're gonna get, or something.
That
a
is
little
why
less
they
than
traded for that wide receiver 1.
But that's the most we can possibly expect from Diggs. It's just fucking 15 to 20 points a game. I don't see it getting higher. So now you're saying, okay, can he do it again? And that's a big question. Like, we see guys do that all the time. Every year there's somebody who does that once and then just doesn't get back to that type of production. I expect him to get back to that type of production, but there's still like that little part of me that's like, does he? I don't know.
So you said that was D-Hops, Diggs, DK?
D-Hops, Diggs, DK. And then DK is 3 because I think, he's on our run first football team, and there's still other options there. DK's the clear number 1. But if I had to choose between a Seahawks player, I'm going to take Lockett in the 5th round over DK in the 2nd. And they're going to produce similarly.
I agree, because I think when you stack up point wise, DK's probably going to take the cake. But when you look at a week by week breakdown, Lockett can.
He's going to have weeks. He's going to have better weeks.
And DK has to play against his daddy, Jalen Ramsey, twice a year, who shuts his ass down, man. Can't take a wide receiver and he does. He's his daddy. You can't take him in the 2nd round knowing he's going to get shut down 2 weeks out of the year.
I wonder if he wished him Happy Father's Day.
He should have.
He should have. Yeah, he should have written him a card.
DK Metcalf, you were incredible in all your wild attributes that you bring to the team, but you get shut down twice a year, man. That's okay. DeAndre Hopkins is going to explode in that 2nd-year role with the team.
Yeah.
I really think that offense is going to go. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on a lot of things. Kyler, rocket arm. We've seen what D-Hops can do. We know he's the guy. Diggs, I am higher on Diggs than you are in that aspect. I
hope it didn't come off as I'm not high.
Listen, we're talking about top 5 wide receivers here. Just because you're at the bottom of that list, you're still top 5.
He's my 2nd. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's my number 2
it's not
of the
like
3.
You're dissing him by saying, and he's my number 2.
He's your number 2 or Hopkins?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have D-Hops, Diggs, DK. Just
okay, so
way.
we agree the same way.
Diggs, I think, can grow into a little bit more.
You think he
role.
can produce more than he did this past year?
The absence of John Brown and maybe a Cole Beasley, we'll see what happens with that.
Okay.
But
I think that hurts him. I do.
It could.
Yeah, I think
target share is going to be in his favor if he wants it.
Yeah, but I would think the defense could key on him a little bit more. You know what I mean?
You ready for the hard one?
Let's hear it.
Maybe not even hard.
Okay.
It's fantasy. CMC, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, and I kept Saquon off.
Yeah, which is right. I think
because he'd be at the bottom.
You want me to rank him?
Yeah. You have the first pick in the draft.
I would hate to have the first pick in the draft this year. I would hate it
because you're
going to make the wrong choice.
You're
going to make the wrong choice.
All of these names are fantastic talents, but somebody is not going to replicate the same.
I don't hate anybody for picking any of these guys number 1. First of all, so if you're in the comments right now saying, "Oh, you're crazy," I don't hate you for thinking any one of these guys are number 1.
We've never seen a back-to-back fantasy year where a 1 through 4 falls 1 through 4 again, though.
Yeah,
somebody is falling. I promise you.
I'm gonna go. Well, and CMC wasn't 1 through 4 last year,
exactly.
So he might be able to jump back into it. I'm going to go, I hate doing this. I'm going to go Henry, Alvin, CMC. And
Derrick Henry in a PPR league is the number 1 back.
Henry's my number. Yeah, he's just so, he wins people's fantasy leagues every year.
He does.
Because he kills it in December.
And he peaks at the right time.
He peaks. Like, I've seen it 2 years in a row, and I didn't see any hint of him slowing down this past year. And that's always what I look for in running backs. Granted, I didn't see it from really any of these guys, but he's the guy where I was looking the closest on, like, okay, is he going to slow down? Is he going to lose it a little bit? I don't think he does. I really don't. So yeah, I'm taking Derrick Henry. I'm taking his 2 touchdowns a game. I'm taking his 15 to 20 touches a game.
Yeah.
I'm taking Derrick Henry. Alvin Kamara is fucking awesome, but the thing that kept me from putting him number 1 was I don't know the quarterback situation. I don't know how the offense changes. There's question marks there with the change of guard. Again, I don't think it matters that much, but that was enough for me. And then CMC coming off injury, I have to have a little bit of trepidation. Again, all of these guys deserve to be in this conversation, and I'm splitting hairs, but that's the one. Those are the factors.
Dalvin.
Dalvin goes 4. Yeah, Dalvin goes 4 for me. And the only reason Dalvin goes 4 is just because I feel like there's weeks where it's like it's just not Dalvin week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's really the only reason.
Is almost the exact same. You said Dalvin, AK, CMC, Cook. Was that right? Derek.
I said Derek.
AK, CMC, Cook.
Yes.
Yeah, I said Dalvin in the first one. My mistake. I go Derrick Henry as well because I think the addition of
Julio, I can't believe we agree on that.
I didn't either. Yeah. I really didn't think you were going to say Derrick Henry.
Yeah, okay.
Because in a PPR league, a lot of times CMC or Kamara is like oh my God, get me some of that
pass
action.
catching back. Yeah,
exactly. It's Derrick Henry, though. I think that what he was able to do against 8 to 9 men in the box.
Yes, and then I didn't even mention that. You're absolutely right.
It is a whole different fold.
We talked about that when that trade happened.
Yeah, changing. We know what that offense is. That's why I said I feel a little weird about the Julio trade. Not on the fact that, oh my God, I love this on paper, but Julio. It's weird to think of an offense that has Julio Jones, but not be the offense about Julio Jones. It's not that. he's going to be
he's gonna be a huge piece of it.
Yeah, exactly. He's a huge piece of that, but this team still runs through Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
This team will play deep into December based off of Derrick Henry and how he plays.
Yeah.
So it's going to work for Derrick Henry on the fantasy asset. Give me Derrick Henry. Give me Kamara. I think they're going to lean on Kamara as long as he's able to stay not injured, I guess, and to see the way the offense flows. CMC I like. There's a lot of weapons. I've heard great things about Sam Darnold, especially coming from CMC. Yeah. He's the move. And honestly, I'm a Vikings fan. Give me Saquon over Dalvin.
Really?
Listen, I like Dalvin.
I wouldn't say that.
I like Dalvin. I'm very high on Saquon. I think
just the injuries past 2 years in a row.
I understand that. I think that if the Giants are able to do what they're able to do and help out Daniel Jones, Saquon is going to be the next, not the next. He's going to be equal to CMC when it comes to overall value out of the backfield.
Yeah.
His talent is legendary. We know why he got taken number 2 overall. He's an asset. I'm going to take him. I have the number 1 pick overall in our league coming up, and of course there's keepers and a lot of these names are out, but I'm taking Saquon.
Yeah, I don't blame you a bit.
So there we go.
That's
all we got, man.
That's all we got. Hey, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hey, we aimed for 35 to 45. We hit it right at 40. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We're going to go play some wiffle ball. We're going to have a good day. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you thought about our list, all those good things. We really appreciate it. Peace out.
7.